Well, hi everyone. It is November 12th, 2011, and why is this video on my channel so late? Well, because this is going to be a Christmas present for one of my relatives back in Minnesota. He inherited a huge stack of 78s. They're all in his garage from his father. Piles, probably about 3 feet, 4 feet high, maybe 4 or 5 piles of them. Must be hundreds of 78s. Well, I wanted to have a phonograph player that would be able to play records and also convert them to mp3s. So I was looking through antique stores and I saw this a couple of months ago, and I thought it was a little overpriced. They wanted $139. I know it's in nice shape and everything. It's a Majestic 5A445. It was, according to the schematics, it's pre-1948, so I don't know exactly what year, but pre-1948, probably 47, somewhere around there, where most of them were made. Anyways, I was looking around on eBay and I saw these phonographs, and the bids were going up and up and up, and then with the shipping, it says, well, it's approaching near $100, and it's only a phonograph, and you don't know what you're going to get when you get something shipped in from eBay, right? So what I decided to do is go back down to this antique store, and sure enough, it was still there. So it hasn't been moved for at least a couple of months, at least. And I told their owner, says, you know, we've shopped there many times, and I've never bartered or anything for anything. I just paid whatever it said for the price. But it said, you know, I really think this is a little overpriced. It's been sitting here for at least a couple of months. Do you think you'd mind ask the person who has this in their booth if they would come down to $100? And even at that, I thought that was a little overpriced, but it is a Christmas present, so so she says, okay, well, I'll give them a call and see if they'll take that. And sure enough, they took $100. So brought it home back in my car. As you can see, it's in really nice shape. And well, we'll open up the cover now and you can look inside. Let me zoom out here so you can see it a little better. And I'll lift it up a little bit. Yeah, now you can get a good idea of what it really looks like. So I'll be restoring this. It has, I don't know if you can see this, but the turntable, I can feel the needle there. Hopefully there's another needle available for this. I'll put a brand new one in there. If not, well, we'll have to go with what it's got. The turntable platter itself seems to be pretty well stick free. Seems to turn freely. And the nice thing about this is the turntable plugs into the chassis. So one of the first tests I'm going to do is just unplug it from the chassis. It's just a regular plug, and plug it into an extension cord and just check out the turntable part. That'll be my first test, because that's the most important thing. The electronics, I'm not too worried about. One way or another, I'll probably get through that, no problem. But when it comes to the mechanics, say it's got a rubber wheel that's worn out or dried out and cracked, or some kind of bearing issue, or something just plain broken in there, it's going to be almost impossible to fix, I would think, unless I was lucky enough to find another exact duplicate part from somewhere else. But we'll just keep our fingers crossed. So that'll be my first test coming up here, and then we'll go look at the electronics part. It is a All-American 5 radio, so it means it's got a hot chassis, no transformer, and all the filaments and all the tubes add up to about 110 volts. So it doesn't need a transformer. So whenever you work on a set like that, you got to have an isolation transformer. Otherwise, you touch that, you touch something else, you're going to get shocked. It's a no-no. So I'll be plugging into my isolation transformer And plus it's a variac too, so I can slowly bring up the voltages. But not until I replace all the caps and out of tolerance resistors first. Another thing I'll be doing real soon, probably after testing the turntable, is we'll go ahead and test the tubes. They look like they're all there. Looks like mostly metal ones. I just kind of took a peek in there already. And well, let's see what we can do, and it ought to make a nice Christmas present. Another thing I plan on doing. It has no RCA jacks, so there's no way to hook it up to anything for recording wise. I'm going to try to make it as invisible as possible. I'm going to have some kind of setup where maybe it'll be a cable, an RCA cable that you can pull out of one of the vent holes on the back plate there that's made out of, what do they call that stuff? You know, that fiber board. I can't think of the name of it. But anyways, there's some slots there, maybe you can feed it through there. And then he can hook it up to a stereo or direct to an MP3 player and make all the recordings that he wants to out of all those 78s before they get broken or something like that. So anyways, that's the plan. So in my next video we'll be testing the turntable itself. Okay, coming up here is a bunch of camera stills so you can take a good high-res look at this cabinet. And it's really in nice shape. I haven't touched the wood or anything yet, but it's pretty much scratch-free, except maybe a couple scratches here. Other than that, there's really no veneer damage, no anything. There's a couple of water spots up here. But anyways, take a look at the images coming up next. Okay, well, I've removed all the screws back here. Let's take off the back panel. Here's a loop antenna, paper cap, and can you see in there, there's the speaker. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. The All-American 5 chassis here. You can see bits and pieces of the turntable up here. This looks like the motor for it. Let me zoom in here, see if you can see a little bit better. Scan around. Speaker looks like it's in nice shape. I don't know if you can see this, but under the speaker, it does look like there's some kind of a transformer here. Now what it could be, I don't know until we get into it. It could be like I have an Philco radio phono combo, big stand-up one. You've probably seen the videos on it. I don't remember the model offhand right at the moment, but anyways, that big Philco also had an impedance matching transformer between the amplifier and the needle cartridge, and I have a suspicion that's probably what that transformer is all about, some kind of impedance matching versus a normal transformer. So let's look into it. As you can see in here, let me zoom in here, hopefully you can see it. Now I'm looking at my screwy camera's screen where you can preview what you're looking at is upside down and backwards. So to find anything, what you're seeing, it's ridiculous. I think this may be it here. Let me point to it. No, I need to go a little bit lower. There we go. I think I need to move this a little bit too, because see if I can. Let's see, can we see that? No, it's blocked. I'm gonna have to raise the camera up, I think. Hold on. There we go. Now you can see it. Right there is the plug that plugs in directly into the chassis from the phonoplayer. So obviously this just goes to the 110 volt motor in the phonograph. So I can just unplug it here. There. Uh-oh. Look at this, folks. Not good. I'm going to have to replace that plug. But as you can see, it was a normal plug. Here's the other spade sticking in here. It's probably a good thing that I did this anyways, because it could have fallen apart at any time. I don't know if this is repairable or not. But anyways, so when I do put another plug on here, I can plug it into like an extension cord and just check out the phonograph part. And then after that, I'll probably take out the chassis, test the tubes, and like I said before, check the capacitors and the resistors and replace all the paper caps and electrolytics. And that'll be my next step. So let me get another plug on here and we'll test out the phonograph player.